And still, okay, think. Can you see? So now it's automatically arranged itself to how it should ideally be, right? You have January, February, March,
So,
April.
sorry to
Huh?
cut you. I hope you know the recording has stopped.
Yeah, I hear that. I presume that she's going to start recording immediately
Okay.
because I'm not the one recording. Let me see if I can. Okay, I see a question. I have a question for I mean, okay, on data. Is it only applicable to data sets with multiple tables? Yes. It is only when you have data sets from different tables that we are going to use data modeling. If it is just a single table, as I said initially, let's say all these other things that we have here, right? All these product location, if all of them are already in this data sales Adidas, right? If they are there as they should, right? We have just one single data. We don't need data modeling for that. It is only when you have different tables, but yet they are connected, like they kind of have relationships. That is when you do data modeling. If it is only that we have this, because the data I wanted to use before, Superstore data set is actually one single set, one data set. But because I want to teach you guys this data modeling. That is why I opted in for this particular data, right? Do you get that? So if you just want single data, you don't need data modeling, which means you already have everything that you need to do your analysis. You have everything in a single table. But if everything that you need, some of them are in other tables, then you have to create relationships among the tables so that you can use them. You can use variables from different tables in a to do a single analysis. Do you get that? Is it clear? Do you get that? Okay, please, I have a question from yesterday's class. If you have a raw data with about 10 to 5 empty cell in a date column, what do you do? Wow. Date column. I'm not sure something like that can happen. If you have a raw data set with about 5 to 10% empty cell in the date column, only empty column, only date column. Well, I'm not sure that's possible because if you have empty column in date, yeah, I understand that you're asking for missing data. If you have empty column, it means like probably there is no transaction on that date. So if you have empty column, well, I'll just suggest is that okay, since it is about 5 to 10%, you can just drop it, remove the empty columns, right? Just have to remove it. Sorting the date. Okay, you want me to show that again? Okay, let me quickly do that because we have so many grounds to cover. Okay, so this is basically what I did. You know, before it was showing April as the first month instead of January. So I just came to this table and then I created this month. Let me delete this. Delete. Then when you come, as you can see, it is kind of arranging it alphabetically, right? Because I'm doing this by month. So it's just arranged it alphabetically. So what I did to sort the dates was to go to that date table that we created yesterday. Then when you come here, come to this date table, then click on new column, then give the new column that you are trying to create, give it a variable name, right? Give it a variable name. So in this case, I'm going to give it month num, that is month number. I want to generate the month number. So when you do that, then like the normal way you format your data, then you look for your date table, click on tab, then format. you use two M's because you want it to return 0, 1. Can you see? It gives you that. Then when you create this column, you click on this column again, this month column. When you click on it, then you come to sort by column. When you come to this sort by column, you click on this drop down and click on by month norm. That is month number. So once you do that, then you come back, you see that it is automatically sorted. Can you see? Is it clear now? Okay, Joy, is it clear? Well, I can see that someone else is also asking that. Okay, yeah, Joy, I want to confirm from Joy as well before I proceed. This one is saying no, Basil Okori. Was not clear. Ah, okay, let me explain again. So as you can see, before I created that month number, this thing was showing April. Then you have after April, I think we have what followed? Okay, August. Like it was basically arranging it alphabetically instead of giving us according to how dates are normally structured, right? Where you have first month of the year, which is January, followed by second month of the year, which is February, right? That is how it should be. But yesterday, when we're trying to do everything, we discovered that it was August that comes first. So I'm going to delete this again. Deleted. Then can you see that it's basically sorted it, or it sorts it alphabetically? You have April, you have August, you have December, and so on to the last one. But this is not how we want it to be. We want it to arrange it according to how months are normally or typically arranged. So to sort this problem, right, to solve it, come to this table view. When you come there, create a new column under the table, date table that you created, not in other tables. It is in the date table where you have your year, your month, your quarter. That is where you are going to do it, right? So just give it a variable name. That is the name of the column that the name you want instead of column, the name that you want to have on it. So me, I want it to be month. Let me put month number, right? Month number, right? So it is the same way that you format normally, that you normally format your text. That's also you put dates. Remember that it is date table that you are going to use to do the formatting, then comma, then you put double S because you want it to be 0, 1, not just 1. So then you click enter. After you click on your enter, then I'm still on this new month number that I created, the column, right? Sort it. To sort, where you have January, February, March, April, May, June, and so on. You come back to this table, then you click on month. When you click on month, you come to this sort by column. When you come to this sort by column, then you have options. You have month, you have date, you have month number, you have quarter. You click on click by year, it will not go. Can you see? To show you cannot sort month column by year. There can't be more than one value in a year, right? So you also come here by quarter to still repeat the. Okay, I think it's sorting it. But we are not sorting by quarter. We want to sort it by month number, right? So I have sorted this column now. I have sorted it by month number. This month column, I sorted it not by month. If I sort it by month, it is good. It is still going to give us that problem that we are having. It will still be from April, August, December, February. That is how it should be if I sort it by month. But if you sort it by month number, it will give you January, February normally. Can you see that? Now let me come back and sort it by month and see what happens. I will sort this column by month and you will see that and so on. Do you see that? But this is not what I want. This is not how I want it. So come back to this place, then come to this sort by column, then click on number, then it will sort it the way it should ideally be sorted. Can you see that? Is it clear now? how I got, I want to assume that this is the message that you sent before I started explaining all over. Please kindly confirm if it is clear now. Okay, yeah. Okay, good, good, good. So we are still clinging to the relics of what we did yesterday. So we dive deep into today's business, and I'm going to give you assignments to preoccupy you with something. So we are just start with the normal DAX formulas that we have. Oh, okay. So basically, we want to start our analysis now, right? So that is okay. Let me remove all these ones. Okay. So what we are going to do now is to look at our dates. So we have parameters, we have invoice dates. We have nothing to do with this invoice date. In fact, we can hide it. This no longer in need of it. Just hide it. Yeah, okay. So these are the parameters that we have. Let me come to this place. You can see the variables. Variables. Okay. We have retailer. What we start with is just to understand our KPIs. Those are the things that I want to calculate. Okay. What is the total sales? How many units were sold? What is the price per unit? We cannot calculate price per unit, but at the end of the day, if you do total price per unit, you're just going to aggregate everything. So we're just going to get the average, right? We want to know the average price per unit. So then we are going to calculate the total units sold, then total sales, operating profits. We are going to calculate that. Then operating margin, we are just going to get the average of our operating margin, right? Then after that, I'm going to teach you how to calculate month on month, right? Month on month, year on year, right? Something like what do I mean by month on month? Okay, let's say your company or the organization you are working for, they sold they sold 15 million units of a product, right? Now, this month, they sold how many percent increase in sales do you have between this year, between last month and this month? That is month-on-month analysis. If it is also profit, what is the increase in profit or decrease as the case may be? Because if you have decrease, you feel like, something is going on, what can we do to make sure that we don't continue to have, what can we do to ensure that our sales does not continue to deplete or come down as the case may be? So we are going to, I'm going to touch all those ones as well. So as I told you yesterday or on Monday that, okay, I'm going to touch everything. So I don't want to start explaining because we are still going to need them. So it is only better that as we need them, explain and show you. So, okay, I know some of you are used to Excel. I want to also start my Excel and then just to like put it to do something and you know how to do it in Excel and connection between them. And that's how it is. If I want to do something, maybe I'm trying to do something with Python and I can't really figure it out, I'll just divert my attention to Excel. Okay, how can I do this in Excel? Once I can figure out in Excel, I'll just use, okay, what are the things I need to do this? So it's also good once you have an understanding of it too, you can always, like, the skills are transferable. Yeah, let me put it that way. So I want to sum all the total sales, right? I want to sum all the total sales. So how do we do that? All the total sales, I want to sum it. So what do you do? Let me come to this place. Then, as long as you are not doing a calculation that has to do with column table, use new measure. So when you click on new measure, then I want to calculate the total operating profit, right? I'll just click on total profit, right? So that is the variable, like placeholder, right? Then after that, after it equals to, you have your sum, just like in Excel. once you have your sum, immediately write the sum. If you look at this IntelliSense, it already gives you the hint on what it does. Adds all the numbers in a column. That is what it basically does. So if I want to sum operating profits, right? I can just click on this. And something about Power BI is that when you try to sum something and you have click on it, it's the table, right? Data sales added as. Then you have in a bracket the name of the column that we want to sum its values. This column, operating profits, this is a column, right? And we want to sort everything. Click enter, right? So this everything. Now, if I can visualize it, I just click on this total, drag this 332.30 million. That is the total profits, right? Need to check something. I want to see it's going to, okay, it doesn't add this all Excel. I was trying to check if this is going to show the total this thing, just like we normally have it in Excel, but it's not really. So that is the total, see, total profit, right? Now I've created the total profit. The next thing I'm going to do, I want to see the total units sold. So I will click on total units sold sum. Just click on, once you know the name of the column, just type something, then total units sold. Click. And if you also want to see that, just use this card, then drag this total units sold. That is this over this, it's just showing 2 million. Just leading, but I will show you how we can have the normal figure. So that is total units sold, right? Then we want to also have sales. Okay, so I'm coming total sales, then some, then total sales. So I'm going to show you, it's also going to, oh, so it's telling you the total sales is already used for a column. So choose a different name. We cannot have a repeated values. You cannot have repeated in your thing. So I'm just going to put total, what can I use? Okay, let me put one. When we start doing our dashboard, we are going to change it. Or okay, no worry, I'll just put one there. So come here. I also visualize it to see the total sales. That's the total sales. And I think it's before, without even checking it, it is accurate because we have been seeing this before, right? Even if we like just click on this, drag it from here, you can see that they are the same thing. 899, right? So that is our total sales. So what else do we want to check? Price per unit. Okay, operating profit, operating margin. So operating margin is a percentage, so we cannot add it together. We are just going to get the average of the average operating margin, average operating margin. So I'll just put AVG, operating, operating margin, right? So you are going to, there is a function called average, so you just put average, then average of operating margin. Please, can you mute yourself, please? Who is that? Someone is unmuted.
Oh, is it?
Somebody is saying I can't find measure 2 of my Power BI. I can't find measure. Measure is right at the top. Yeah, can you see where my cursor is? Like when you look at this place, you can see this is measure. These are measure. This is the measure. Can you see it? This is the measure. Just click on it. New measure. You can even see the intelligence. It's saying write a DAX expression that calculates a value from your data. Can you see it? You can see that two people are complaining that I can't find measure on my Power BI screen. Can you see it now? Okay, you can see it. Oh, fine. Good. Okay, I think I made a mistake. Okay, yeah. So confirm that you can like confirms that it's yeah. So we go back to this place. Let me see the average on operating costs. Where is our average? Okay, here is it. Can you see that is 42%? That's the average operating cost. It's 42%. I'll just remove this. So I want to know the total transactions that we have. Yeah. So that's one of the KPIs, right? Key performance indicator. So I want to know our KPI. So everything that I've been doing so far is just like the KPIs. Okay, what is total sale? What is the profit? What is the sub profit? What is this? What is that? How many units were sold? And so on. So those are KPIs. So what I'm going to do right now is to also create, I want to know what is it called? The total transaction, right? I'll put total transactions. How many sales, how many times were those sales were actually made, right? So I want to do that. So how do you do that? Just use count rows. Count rows, right? It's just once you click on count rows, it counts every rows in the table. That is what it does. If you can look at it now, if you look at this place, count rows, then in parentheses, we have something like table. Count the number, like counts the number of rows in the table. That is what count rows, that is what it does. Just look at your table, then it automatically counts all the rows in it, just like we have in Python. You want to know the numbers of rows in a data frame in Python, just use len and the name of this thing or the data frame brings everything for you. So the same thing applies to Power BI. Just put count rows, then you click on the name of that table. In this case, Adidas. Then click enter. So if you look at it now, let me see. You come here. Where is the total transaction? Just drag it here. Can you see the total transactions that were made were actually 9,648. And if you come to this table, if you look at this at the bottom of this table, you can see something like 9,640, which means it is accurate. Everything in this table, all the rows in this table are what? Are 9,648. That is what it is basically telling us. Okay. So that is that about that. And there is another way to actually count this row, right? Maybe you don't want to use count. You can also use count A or counter as the case may be. Just come to this measure. Then after that, come to this place. What I want to count. Okay, let me put total total trans. All right, so once you do that, come here, you can just click on count in. But in this time around, you are not going to count the table. You are going to count a certain column name in the table. So now, let me see the table that has whatever I want to count. You can just count for maybe retailer ID, right? You just want to count all the columns in retailer ID. all the rows in this column, in retailer ID column, right? So it's still going to give us the same thing. And you see, it's still the same thing. So whichever one that, but it's always just to save yourself the stress of just, you can always use that count rows, then just put the name of the table. It automatically counts everything for you, because it is possible that you might count a row that will have missing values. Maybe you don't have retailer ID, you might be dealing with different data sets, and then the particular row that you choose to count, then unfortunately has some missing values, which means it is not going to count the entire distance. So you just stick to count rows, right? It will just help you to count all the rows that you have in that table, right? That is what it is going to do. So I think we have done everything that we want to do in our listing, our KPIs. So what I just want to show now is to show what we call the time intelligence functions, right? So there is a function, there are some functions called, there are some time intelligence functions I used to calculate dates. You want to calculate the previous year, right? You want to calculate same period last year, same period last this thing. So there are functions for that. So, but before we go into that, I want to show you how to do month over month and year over year. But it is when we start creating a dashboard that all those things will eventually make sense. But just follow along. Let me check the message if there is any to confirm if anyone is on. Can we use sum for total transaction as well? No, don't use sum for it. Sum is used for values that can be added, right? So that is what you use sum for. You cannot use to count. So if unfortunately total transactions, if you have numbers there, right? Maybe it is repeating the numbers, that transaction that you want to count. If you apply sum on that column, right? If the column that you it is going to sum all the numbers together. Let's say you have a customer that has the KPI you calculated. The KPI you calculated are they standard or they are the ones requested of us? Okay, that's a very good question. It depends on the data that you are dealing with, and it depends on the industry, right? In this case, this is like a store, right? So as it normally, when you have a store, you want to know total profit, you want to know your profit, you want to know your revenue, you want to know your the cost of goods sold and everything. You want to know them. Those are key performance indicators for people that run business. If you are dealing with marketing data, you measure different variables. Like you track different metrics in that case, right? If you are working with hotel, maybe you are working in it depends on the industry, right? Maybe you are a data analyst for a supply chain, this thing, you measure different metrics. So the metrics, the KPI you are going to measure depends on the data set that you are working with. Okay. So if you are analyzing HR data sets now, the KPI you are going to look into is entirely different. The KPI you will be looking at in that kind of data set, the metrics you'll be measuring is that, okay, how many employees do they have? Okay, you want to look at, okay, the gender, you want to know how many female employees, how many male employees, right? Okay, you want to know the employee turnover and everything. You want to know the total salary. Those are things you measure as KPIs, right? You want to know average salary. So it depends on the data set that you are dealing with. So there is no standard. The standard depends on the data set and the industry. Is it clear? And I can say, how can we know when to use average instead of sum? It is very simple. You want to know the average. Average, you know what average is? I believe everyone knows what average is. Average is just like, okay, maybe me, I buy something for 1,000. Another person purchases something of 1,002. Then another person purchases something of 1,005. Another person purchases something of 900. Then they add all our everything that we have bought, everything we have bought, they add the money together. Then they divide it by the total numbers of people that have bought those things. That is where you have your average. That average just gives you an idea that, okay, on average, like the average does not represent the all data, just give you an idea. And that is how when you look at the when you look at research study, they look, okay, on average, an average human being does this, okay, especially on IQ. They tell you that, okay, an average human being, like the IQ of an average human being is 100, right? That does not mean everyone has an IQ of average, but what that is telling you is that if you pick, like if in a representative data, right, if you pick a sample that's a representative, if you look at them at the end of the day, if you look at the average IQ of those people that you have picked, the IQ will be something around 100. That does not mean everyone in that sample has 100 IQ. There will be some of them that will have about 140. People like Einstein. Einstein, I think he even had more than 140 IQ. And there are people like that that has even, I think I read about a guy that has about 119 IQ. And I learned that I has about 160. So that it does not mean everybody has 100. It just means on average. So that is average. You just want to know, okay, the average sales or average distance, depending on what you want to measure. But if you want to know the total, that is when you use sum. So it depends on what you want to measure. That determines, okay, am I using sum or am I using average? Is that clear? Okay. I want to confirm from Rashida Ambali. Is it clear? Oh, okay, I can't respond, so we can just proceed. Okay, I see Basil Okori. All right. So now we are going to have our, what's it called? The time, no, not time intelligence, like all this month-on-month analysis, year-on-year analysis. So that is what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to create a new measure again. Then I want to create, I have calculated profits. I've calculated total profits and so on, right? So now I want to see profits, month over month profits. So I'm just like profits months on months, right? So when you come here, this one takes another ball game entirely. So you are not going to put some average as the case may be. So just click on Shift Enter to come to down to come down. Then when you do that, you click on var, which is variable, which means variable, right? Var. When you click on that, so when you have the variable, I want to do PM, which means previous one. Don't worry, I'm going to break everything down. Just follow me. I have var and PM. So I'm declaring a variable. This is just like me declaring a variable. Then I have the PM, which is previous. What I want to do here is that I want to do something that we'll be able to, in our dashboard, as we are navigating it, once I click on a certain month, I'm going to see at the top of that data, the preview, like the percentage increase or decrease between last month and the current month. That is what I'm trying to do with this DAX formula that I'm writing. Sorry. Okay, so we have previous months. Then you are going to use calculate equals to calculate. So this calculates what it is essentially used for. is like filtering, right? Use it for filter, just like you have some ifs, count ifs, average ifs, max ifs, min ifs, and so on in Excel. That is what you can also use this calculate for. Just follow along. If you look at this, evaluate an expression in a context modified by filters. So you have this expression, right? And depending on what you want to do, I could have just written sum. Then once I write the sum, then I do the sum of total operating profit. But I've already calculated operating profit. I'm just going to use that measure that you can use a measure in a new measure you are creating. So I'm going to look at the total profit, the sum on the total profit. That's what I'm going to do. Total profit, that is it. Total profit. Once you have it, as you can see, after the expression, you put comma. After the comma, what do I want to do? Because I'm doing month over month or month on month, so I'm going to put date add. Don't worry, I know that it is kind of getting really, but it is not complicated. Just follow along. So this date add, what it does is that if you look at this intelligence, you can see moves the given set of dates by a specified interval. So what this date add, and like the name is even explicit, right? Date add. It means you add to dates. It helps you add to dates. That is what it does. Let's say maybe you have a contract, or you just hire, you are working with some contract staff, right? So they are going to spend 7 months on the job, right? And then their contract starts today. You have already written it 22/8/2024. But you now want to know that, okay, if I add 7 months to the current date, when is their contract going to expire? I want to know the specific date. That is where you use date add. So just follow along. So date add, then calendar. You are going to put, if you look at it, the first expression in that date add is date. So, and I want to use the calendar date in this measure. So I'm going to put calendar. No. It's date table. Date table is the name I gave to it, right? So, and then that is the name. That is the table that we created with calendar auto. That is why I mentioned calendar. So table, right? Table. So always remember, you have no business with month number, month, quarter, year. You have no business with any of them. So just click on tab. Then after that, comma. What is the number of intervals? Okay. Do you want to add 1 month? Do you want to add 2 months? Do you want to add 3 months? So if I add 1, that means when we start creating our dashboard, we have everything, and then we are using slicer to manipulate everything. Unlike, what I want to do is a month on month, I want to know the difference between last month's sales. I want to know the percentage increase or decrease between last month's sales and this month's sales, right? So if I just use this one, the percentage that is going to show, the percentage increase or decrease is going to show will be between this month and next month. But that is not what I want. I want it to be between last month, previous month, and this month, right? So what I'm just going to do is that I'm going to put -1. Numbers of interval. I want you to go back to last month and then compare it with the current month, right? Then comma. When you have the interval, remember that this date table that I created, that I'm using in this measure, it has date, it has month, it has quarter, it has year. So in this case, which of these interval do I want? Because we are doing month on month, I'm going to click on month. We are still going to use this year as well. That is when we are using year and year. Let's say I want to see profits, right? The difference in last year's profits, the percentage difference in last year's profits and this year's profits. I want to know it. That is when we are going to use year. But we just want to compare the month. So that is what I'm going to do. Then put the months. So you close it. When you close it, then you click on shift enter. You see declare another variable, you write var, then, okay, I think something is missing. Okay, yeah, I should add another parenthesis. Yeah, so we are good to go. Then you have var, then current, this CM means current month. This one means previous month. So that is why, as you can see, PM, then I use calculate total profit, date add, date table, date add. Then in that date add, I'm now using our date table that I created with calendar auto. Then I want it to reverse it by just 1 month. Then because it is month that I want to do, I give it month. But in this case, then we have real current month, just total profits. I'm going to put total profits, right? So then you put, after we have written this, we put return, just put tab. Then once you have done that, still click on shift enter. Then once you have done that, just do current month, you put CM divided by PM minus 1, right? Then click enter. You have enter now. So let me show you something. So I will click on this. Then I'm going to drag this profits month over month. It won't make much sense. So showing 10, then I'm going to drag this month's dates. There's this table. Then drag this month, drag it into okay, coming. What is that total profits? What is that total profits? Can you see now? When you look at this, look at this table. Let me zoom in. Can you see in January, right? In January, it should not be giving us this 8.2. And I assume that it is comparing it with the one for previous one, but don't worry. Well, I'm going to deal with that later. So when you look at this in January, we made 25 million, right? 25 million, 25 million as the total profit, right? But in February, the profit reduced, dropped to 21 million. You see that it's decreased, not that it has gone up. Now, this is the percentage increase, this percentage decrease in that profit for that year. This is the percent, the profit decreased by just minus 0.015. That is manageable. Like that's even less than 1% decrease, right? And when you also look at this March now, the sales in price, the profit made in March, in February is 21 million. Then in March, it is 20, right? It is 20 million. So you still see that the price also decreased. The total profit also decreased, right? It's also decreased. So the percentage decrease is minus 0.04. That's still like negligible. It is still manageable. But as your stakeholders are saying, they need to find out why is the profit decreased. Like for 2 months in a row, the price decreased. Why? But when you now look at in April, the price actually went up from 20 million to 27 million. Then when you look at it, you see that, oh, this is 0.035, right? I'm coming. I want to be sure that, okay, I'm coming. I want to check something. Where is the, let me use percentage. Is it in percentage already? Okay. So when you now look at this, should give me percentage now. Should show percentage. Why is it not showing percentage? I want to be sure that why is it not showing percentage. I'm assuming that this 0.35 should be 35%. Right? That's 35%. Like, it is even obvious because the March sales. Oh, okay. I see where the problem is. I'm not clicking on what I should click on. Because I'm wondering, like, the percentage is applying on something else. So where is that month on month? Okay, profits month on month, then percentage. Can you see? So just ignore this first one. Ignore it. Can you see? So between January and February, January 25 million was made as profits, but in February it reduced to 21 million. So that I think that's about, if you calculate it, that should be about 3 point something million decrease. So in percentage, it is minus 14.91. That's a lot. Like, from this, the organizations the organizations will start, like, what is the problem? What's going on? How can we move? Like, what creates that 14% decrease? We made 25 million as profit in January. Now in February, his profit drops. Okay, they might start investigating why. Maybe because, in January, maybe because, there is Christmas. Okay, maybe the New Year, people are still on vacation, they are still on holiday and everything. So they made more purchase. That's just like assumption. I'm just saying maybe that is the factor that account for this decrease in February. But maybe by February, people are already practicing austerity measure that Sapa will choke you. So they start decreasing their sales. That's just like, I'm just making an assumption, right? So, but the bottom line is we can see that there is 14% decrease in what? In total profit. Again, in March, there is 4%, 4.4% decrease. However, between March and April, the profit also went up to 34%. Can you see? From 20 million to 27 million. So that's about 7.1 million. If you look at it very well, you can see that that's about 7.1 million increase in profit. And then when it is expressed in percentage, you have 34.83%. Then between April and May, you also have 8% increase. But between May and June again, there is decrease, minus what? Minus 10. Then in July, between June and July, there is 27%, and so on and so forth. So that is the idea that's the logic of what I have done here. It is to give us something like this, right? That is what I have done. Okay. So as I said, I'm going to give you assignments. So based on what I have done here now, okay. So I think before I give you that assignment, it is reasonable for me to explain what this calculates to make you understand, to break it down for you. So I'm just going to use this months over profits month over month. So I'm now going to tell you to go and do profits. Okay, total sales month over month. We are going to do total transaction month over month. Okay, maybe total transactions that were made in January were 2 million. Then in February, there was 4 million. So how many percent increase? So you are going to do something like this. Then you also do the same thing for total units sold. You are going to do that. So that will be your assignment. So I'm just going to explain this calculate for you. So that calculate, as I said, it is like what? It is like filter. So now let me do something. I think we have products. We have different products. If I create it, let me see. If I create that, I want to look at the products. We have how many products? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to use that calculate function. You know, I told that it is used for filtering. So I'm going to calculate the total profit just by men's apparel. So just follow along. It is not a rocket science. It is very straightforward and clear and understandable. So don't feel like, don't they carry me, they go where I don't know. I'm not carrying you to just put your mind into it. Yeah, so I want to do men sales, right? Men sales apparel. Men sales, just put calculate. Look at the IntelliSense again. Evaluate an expression in a context modified by filters, right? So what I'm going to do is that because we have already created total profit, we already have the measure. At this being, we have not created the measure. You can just do sum. What do you want to sum? Total profits, total sales, right? So once you do that, you close it, then you put your comma. So what do you want to filter? The total sales of what? Of which product do you want to do? Because I want to do products. Okay, just put filter products. No, no, no. Products, right? Click on this data sales Adidas, right? Then you put equals to men, it is men's, yes, I want to, okay, let me confirm again. I want to confirm the name before I proceed. Where is it? Okay, I'll just use men's apparel, okay? Men's apparel. I think I copied this thing before. Okay, yeah. So men's apparel. I get this spelling of this apparel. Then you close it again. Is that so? No, no, no. Something is missing. You are missing something. You are missing something. What's going on? I think we are missing something. That's why this is showing like this. So calculates. Why is that the case? Okay. So I didn't include the one for this. So this one. So okay, I didn't close. No, I did now. Okay, well, let's see. Oh, no, 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 no. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. What's going on? No. Okay, let me just click enter first. Before I make that verdict, that's something. Okay. So men sales apparel, right? So click here. Then come here. So for all the total profits normally is what? What's total profit? Come here. Then drag this total profits. Is it profits? Which one did I calculate? Let me confirm. Men sales apparel. Yeah, total sales. Okay, it's total sales that I calculated. It's total sales. So I'm going to grab the total sales. Can you see? The total sales is actually 899 million. But out of all the total sales, only main sales, the main sales that were like the sales for men is just what 123 million. As you can see, I use that calculate function to do what? To just filter and do the sum, just like we do some ifs. Now let me come to Excel. Can you see my Excel screen? Can you see my Excel screen?
No,
No.
it's just Power BI.
Okay, I will start sharing that one now. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to just do now is that I'm going to use some if to calculate for men or men's apparel, right? So just come here. Okay, use this column, then use some ifs, right? Sum range. What do you want to sum? The total sales.
No, that's it.
Please mute yourself, please. So once I do that, men sales, then criteria range. What are the criteria? It's products, right? Then comma, what's the criteria? I want to use men's apparel. Then close it. Then let me use currency or accounting as the case may be. This one is showing Naira. I don't like Naira. Can you see 123,728,632? Now let's come to our Power BI again. Just take note of let's just assume just 123M, right? So I'm going to start sharing my Power BI screen again. Can you see that? Is there any difference? Can you see my screen?
No difference.
So the idea of that calculate, what it basically does is that it helps what you will have done in some ifs. So that is what it also helps to do. It is not restricted to just sum alone. You can use that calculate to do any transaction, to do anything, right? We can use it on that counts, on these total transactions as well. You can use that calculate to filter out of this transaction, how many of them was actually main sales. You can use that calculate function to do as many this thing as possible. So before I go, let me show you another. I know that calculate function might kind of confuse you, but there's nothing confusing in it. Let me give you one more example. So I want to look at men's apparel, right? I just want to see how many counts of it that we have. So I'm going to do calculate. So because I already have total transactions in our table, so I don't need to use counts in this one again. I don't need to use sum. If you already have your measure, you can use measure in this calculate. But if you don't have it, you can use that sum afresh. But because I already have what I want to use, I've already used it in the measure. So I'll just bring that name into this new measure. Then transaction. That's what I'm going to do. Total transactions, right? So I'll put comma. What do I want to do? I want to filter it by products in the sales Adidas table. Remember, then equals to men's apparel, where product is equals to men's apparel. Right? Then you click enter. When you click enter, let me come here. Then where is that men's men? So this means of all the 8,000 something that we have, that is 9,648. This men's apparel were only bought 1,606 times. Do you get it now? So you use that calculate, you basically use it to do what? To filter. So, and how does it apply to this month over month analysis that I profit over month? When you look at it, when you look at this var, you look at this, like it is like me creating variables in variable. I want to calculate the total profit of previous month, right? And how do you see percentage difference? Let's do normal basic arithmetic, that's the basic math. We want to know percentage between former price and new price, right? So what do? You do current price minus previous price, right? It is going to give you the difference. When it gives you the difference, then you are now going to divide the old price with the difference in the previous price and the new price. I know that is already like, that's like me speaking Swahili already. Just for this, for some people, I'm going to use this. Let me just copy this. I'm going to copy this value. Then I'm going back to Excel now. I want to make sure that you truly understand what I'm doing here. So I'm here. I'm going to paste what I copied from my Power BI, right? Let me change it to currency. So let me copy the for February, copy value, then February, then change it to currency. This one that is giving me an error. I don't like an error. So I want to see the percentage difference. So how do I do it? You come here. This is the current price, right? This is for February. So that is the new month. I want to see percentage difference. Then you do that minus the old one, right? That is the difference. That's about minus 3 million, right? Now, I now want to know the percentage, right? Percentage of that difference. So I'm going to put another one here. So just put equals to, can you see my Excel screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So minus, then divided by the old price or the old month or previous month. Then let me use percentage. Minus 15, let me put it into. So can you see that it is minus 14.91? Put it in mind. So I'm going to go to Power BI to show that minus 14.91, right? Can you see that? Can you see that?
Sure.
Yeah.
That is what we are going to do with this months over months and everything that we have here. That is the idea. That is, I use this calculate, then total profit. I want to filter total profit, then date add. This date add, I told you that it is used to do what? To add to date, to a certain date. Then this date add, once you pass in this parameter, once you have this date add, you are going to be required to put a date. Which date do you want to use in this parenthesis? Because I want to use that date table, right? I put there, I put comma, but the numbers of interval that I don't want future date. I want for previous. That is why I am adding -1. If I want to see the difference between current price and or the current month and the last 2 months, I'm just going to put -2. But I don't know if there is anyone who wants to know something like that. Okay, want to know the current, but it depends on what you are really measuring. If it is something you want to know, okay, 2 months ago and the current month, we want to know what is the percentage increase or percentage decrease. Then in that case, I'm not going to use -1. I'm going to use -2. But because I just want to see the difference between last month and current month, so I'm using -1. Then you have month. The month here is that we are using this month because we are doing previous months. And we have 4 options. You either have day, you have month, you have quarter, and you have year. But because we are doing month on month, we still do year on year. If we want to do year on year, now let me do year on year. Okay. Let me just copy everything here. So that would be the last example I'm going to use. Right? So I've copied it, the new measure. I have a new measure. Then paste. Then I paste. It is profit. Then I'm not doing for profit again. I want to do for another variable. Which one can I pick? Okay, let me pick total sales, right? I want to see month on month total sales. Okay, let me put sales month on month. Right? Now, in this case, the only thing I'm going to change is this total profit because I'm no longer doing month on month total profit. I'm doing for total sales. So I'm just going to replace this total profit with total sales, right? Total sales one. Then just click on enter. You don't need to change any other thing. Just that parameter that you want to calculate. That's the only thing you have because I'm still doing month on month. That's what I'm going to do. So enter. So let me show you sales month on month. Now you see it is showing minus 60, blah, 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 blah. So let me create table. The months, drag it in. All this. Okay. So we have January, February, you can even see that it means throughout the months or throughout the year, like everything just keeps reducing, keep decreasing, keeps decreasing, keeps decreasing. Right. So let me go to this sales month on month and I put for my percentage. Right. So once they see something like this, it means they will start taking action. So let me put that total sales. See, see. Okay, Razak Olasuntomi. What was the question, please?
Yeah, the variable current month, you still use total profits
Huh?
in the measure, the new measure we just created. The variable for current month is still total profit.
No? Okay, 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 okay. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I didn't change that. Thanks for that observation. But I think that is why we even have this hand. So can you see? So the figure isn't as exaggerated as we have it before. So when you look at the total sales now, in January, they made 71 million sales as total sales. Then in February, from 71 to 61, that's too much. That means 10 million gone just like that. They need to investigate that. And then the percentage decrease in that is just what? 14.52. Then from February to March, there was another decrease or there was another drop. Then the percentage decrease is just minus 7.2. But in April, the sales actually went up to 72 and the increase is 27%, then and so on. So as you can see, just look around it. Depends on what you want to calculate. In this place now, we are using total profit. This place, we are using total sales. But then it is still the same. The only thing we just change is just for the two. So if you want to do for total transaction as well, can look at it, okay? We want to see month on month difference, right? We want to know, okay, transaction, how many transaction was made in January? Then in February, how many was made? Increase. What is the percentage decrease? So just look at it, internalize it, okay? Internalize it, practice it, look at it vividly or keenly, and try to. So it is not something that, okay, before I go, there is something I should have actually shown. So to avoid, because there are sometimes that, okay, you might not find this PM. So the best practice is to always put if, to avoid infinity, if, right, put and. After you have put and, then enclose. Okay, let me put this. Then you put current months, right? You put current months, comma, previous months. Then you do this. After you do that, after you have done that, you close it, you come here, you make sure that they are very close to each other. Then you are going to close that if. Okay, I know what's going on. There is no, I didn't put comma here. Okay, yeah. So if you look at it very well now, let me see, comma, right? Logical test, result if true. It's just like me, just like I'm just trying to like check that, okay, oh, does this CM and PM, do they exist? Is there any variable like that in this? So if true, then I want you to do what? To do current month divided by previous month minus 1, right? Like this total sales now, total sales, we want to divide it by what? The total sales, which is, okay, let me do this. Let me try to, what is the total sales? The total sales is 899 million, right? That is total sales. And then the current month is 61 million. Okay, let's see if you can just even do that through manually. So let me share my Excel screen so we can also do that in Excel. And that will be the last thing for today. I'm just trying to make sure that you all understand this, because I know that it is kind of, it looks somehow confusing, but it is not. You just need to look at it very well, internalize the message, and so that's it. That's it. It is not a rocket science. It is not hard. I will try my best to make sure that, yeah, you all get it. So I'm just going to copy this value, then come here, drop it here. These are our current month, right? Currency. So I'm going to copy for the current month or previous month. Previous month. This previous month. Right? So if you look at this, so what I did was to, where is that sales month on month? So current month divided by previous month minus 1. So current month divided by previous month. So what we have in our current month is this divided by previous month minus 1. Now you see 34%. Is that true? That's not what we want to get. So it's not giving us the accurate, Abby. I'm trying to show that logic, but it is not giving us that particular figure. Current month divided by still. Okay, I'm coming. What's the current month? Current month should be 21. Okay. So let me do this. Current month. I put all the total in the first place. These are current months. Wait, let me confirm. Yeah, 21. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Okay. So I think we have accurate this thing now. Let me put just like, let me put, so minus 14.91. So let me see my Power BI. It's the same thing. For the total sales. Okay, let me start sharing my screen. Can you see, did you see that? Can you see my Excel screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so this is my current month, and then this is the previous month. Then I divide current month by previous month, then do it, and then subtract it by 1. Then it gives me minus 14.1, which means between January and February, the total sales, the decrease in total sales, the percentage is minus 14.91. So now let's go to Power BI. I'll start sharing my Power BI screen again. Well, this 6:30. Wow, I spent so much time, but it's fine. So can you see that it is still the same thing? 14.91, right? So that is basically the idea. We are trying to do what? We are trying to use current months. We are trying to subtract it to get the total, to get the percentage increase or decrease, as the case may be. So just look at it, practice it. So the assignment I'm going to give you now is that you are going to do the year on year for profits, year on year for total sales, do month on month for total transaction, and month on month for, and year on year for total transaction. So that's like what? I think that's about 4. You are going to do year on year for total sales. That's number 1. You are going to, for all the measures I've created here, look at the measures. You have the I've already done profits from month on month profits. I've already done that. I've already done sales month on month. So what are you going to do for me on this profit is that we are going to do year on year, right? And then for profits, then you are going to do year on year for sales. Then we now come to these total transactions. I've already created the measure, right? You are going to calculate month on month for it. Then you are going to calculate year on year. The same thing applies to this total units sold. You are going to calculate month on month, then you are going to calculate year on year. So that means you are working on 4 variables. Month on this profit, I've already calculated the month on month. So that means you'll be calculating just year on year. That is number 1. Then this sales too, you are going to calculate year on year. And this total profits, okay, we already have it. Then this total transaction, you are going to calculate month on month and then year on year. Then this one too, month on month and year on year, which means you have 6 in total to do. Is that clear? Yeah, so that's what you are going to do for me.
Sorry, please, can you come again?
Huh?
Can you list them again? I got lost.
Okay, I said, I've already calculated profit month on month, and I have calculated sales month on month, total sales, this total sales. I have calculated total profits month on month, then I've calculated total sales month on month. So what I want you to do for me is to calculate the year on year for total profits, then year on year for total sales. But this total transaction, you are going to calculate month on month. That's number 1. Month and year on year, which means on this total transaction, you have to work. Yeah, you have 2 assignments on it, month on month and year on year. And this total unit sales, or total unit sold, you have month on month, you have year on year. The only one that you have year on is this profits, total profits and total sales. And that's because of what? Because we have already calculated month on month for the 2. So that is why you won't be bothering yourself to calculate the month on month for. So which means you have 6 assignments to be completed for tomorrow. Okay, how do we save our work so as to come back to it? So just when you do that, when you come here, because I've already saved my own before, just click on Control S. When you click on Control S, it is automatically going to bring folder that you want to save it in. So now if I come here, if you don't want to click on Control S, you can click on Save As, then pick anywhere you want to save it in your folder. Maybe you want to save it in this Excel file. So that's where you want to save it. Just click on Save. You want to choose the folder you want to save it. Click on Save. Use this .pbix. That is the format it should be. PBIX. So once you save it, you can always retrieve it in your. Once you launch your PowerBI for the first time, you will see it here. This, can you see? These are things I have already saved. I saw data jig. So just click on it. It brings it. So even if I've already saved it, if I just mistakenly log out my PowerBI, by the time I come back, I will still meet it here. So that's how you save. Yeah, so okay, I should write out the assignments. Okay, no problem. I'm going to drop it on the group again. Yeah, so that will be end of today's session, and I hope I have not really bugged you with so much. Because I know that the reason why I'm doing this because I know that you can understand it. If I know that these people cannot understand it, I'll just like, well, there is no need to stress myself. They will not understand because I have so much. I have that belief and that expectation is very high, and I know that you are going to live up to that expectation. So let's see what you have to do in your assignment. And as a matter of fact, you should even submit it by 2 p.m. Latest by 2 p.m. tomorrow. Yeah, should be submitted so I will evaluate it. So it should be submitted by 2 p.m. tomorrow, before latest 2 p.m. Yeah. So that will be the end of today's session. So I appreciate we have 26 people on call. Yeah, that is amazing. Shows your commitment and we really appreciate it. So we meet again tomorrow by God's grace. Yeah.
Thank
Thank you so much. Please, can we appreciate him in the comments? Let's tell him thank you. We know our culture, so basically we should do the normals. Thank you to our instructor, and we should not forget our assignment so that Madam Yeti will not cut off somebody's head by tomorrow. You should please submit your assignment. Thank you to the meeting and also the feedback link so that you can give us feedback. Okay, I think that'll be all. Thank you,
It's my
everyone.
pleasure.
Have a wonderful evening.
All right, so everyone,
Yes.
enjoy the rest of your evening. Yeah, bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
You're welcome.